What's happening, people? So I'm going to give you a market breakdown video of the trades that I'm looking at for next week. Also, I'm going to give you a breakdown of the one and only trade that I've got left running from last week. I'll also take you over a trade that I took on NZD CAD and Aussie CAD that are no longer open. But to begin with, let's get into the trades that I'm looking to take for next week. But first, let me just roll the intro, and I shall see you on the other side. Right, so let's get started with USD JPY. So what I was initially looking for was this imbalance to be filled. I was then waiting for some sort of structure shift on the lower time frames. So as you can see, we started creeping up, crept up, filled the imbalance. We then had this breaker structure over here from this last major push to the upside. And now all I'm looking for is, once spreads died down tonight, Sunday night in the UK, I will be setting a pending order at this price, stop loss at this price, and then all I'll be waiting for to be tagged in, hopefully. And then first targets will be this 4-hour order block here, where there could be potentially buying opportunities. So all I'll do is I'll just keep tabs on it on a 15-minute, see how price starts reacting once we get to this 4-hour order block here, once all these imbalances have been filled. If price looks like it's about to reverse, then I will potentially take all my profits off the table and run with it, or depending on how structure is, I will manage it accordingly. So that's all I have for USD JPY. NZD CAD, what we're looking at. So yeah, I'll take you through the trade that I took at the end. So once when I break down Euro JPY, I'll then break down the trade that I took on NZD CAD earlier on in the week. So yeah, what we're looking at. So on the daily time frame, we have this daily order block here where price rallied from previously. So I was looking at that area as a potential reversal. And then on the hourly, as you can see, we started liquidating lows, then we finally had a break. But we've had a break of a major higher time frame structure up here now, signaling that this could potentially move higher. So literally on a 15-minute, I know all of this imbalance hasn't been filled, but the majority of it has. So all I'm waiting for now is a break of this last major push to the downside, and then hopefully we can pull back, and there's a entry reason in here we can look to take to potentially get long, at least up until this 4-hour order block up here, because there's imbalances that need filling up to there, and then there could even rise all the way up to here, as there's still imbalance within here. So that's basically NZD CAD in a nutshell. So yeah, just need a break of this structure, pull back, some sort of entry reason, and we can go long on NZD CAD. Euro USD, looking for longing opportunities. We are in a nice zone for potential reversals on the weekly time frame. With this weekly order block here, we came away from here once. We could be building up. As you can see, the candles are starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So we could potentially be looking to move to the downside. I'm gonna have a look to see. Yeah, we could potentially build this order block here and then move to the downside, because we have had a breaker structure from these equal lows here. Not one that I'm really interested in at the minute, because we have obviously as well created a high. So this one will just be one that I'll keep tabs on for now. What I'll potentially be doing is looking to see how price reacts down at these 4-hour levels, depending on how price gets there and stuff on the lower time frames for potential long in entries. So we could long here, we could long here, could long here, depending on how price and what price does, and if it gives us that entry type and shows us a reversal to potentially go long. So these are the 4 areas that I'm looking at to go long. But again, as I say, this could be the start of potentially a massive reversal to go to the downside, but I don't have any sort of indication at the moment that we could be about to move short. So we'll stay long bias for now, and then we'll just see what price tells us in the future, maybe next week or potentially the week after. So that's basically it for Euro USD. Aussie dollar CAD, where are we at? So we have this daily order block here, with a 4-hour order block just below. This is usually green. I mean, it's grey, but my green is usually my imbalance, so pay no attention to that. Again, similar to NZD CAD, just waiting for a break of this structure here to the upside. I was looking at this on a 5-minute, and I could have potentially missed out on already a long position, but one that I'm going to watch, which hence why I've got the question mark there. This could have been the last major push to the downside. We've had a break structure to the upside. This could have been the last level of supply before price moved higher. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that one, as it literally potentially could be the start of the up move from here, which would be disappointing because that would have been a lovely trade, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that one for now. Aussie dollar, US dollar, I believe we're at an order block that's been respected a fair few times. Yeah, so again, just waiting on what price does on the lower time frames. Wait for a break of this last push to the downside. Again, wait for a break, see if we can get any sort of entry back down here, because there'll be liquidity above these highs here, so maybe price might take them out, move back in some sort of level within here before potentially moving higher. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that one. Similar thing happened over here, I believe. Coming down, we had a breaker structure and price came down, tested these last areas here, and then price decided to move higher. So again, we'll just have to keep tabs on what happens on Aussie dollar, US dollar. It's not one of my favorites, which is why it's down here. So yeah, but now let me just take you over the trades that I took the middle of last week, I want to say. We had one on Aussie dollar CAD. If I just show you this one, yeah, we was coming down. We had a nice breaker structure here. Last area of demand down here. We then came, we tagged it here, and then we had a nice rally to the upside. I believe my stop loss was just below this level once we created this higher. So just managing the trade with structure, and I believe I took about 4% from that position. So not too bad on that one. Where was it? Can't find it. Yeah, it was around 4% that I took from that one. I then had a similar one. This one I took 5-minute entry on NZD CAD. As you can see, just coming down, liquidating the lows, then we had a breaker structure from the last major push to the downside. We then had our last area of supply in here. So I believe my entry was just above that candle there, and my stop loss was below here, giving us around a 9 pip stop loss, and that's a bit wide. First targets was obviously these structure highs up here, but eventually price just rallied to the upside, and then eventually my stop loss was below this low here, I believe, once we made this higher, and then eventually price couldn't continue rallying, which was probably due to this imbalance here that needs filling, which we're looking at on the higher time frames that I just went over, which we're looking for long in opportunities yet again. But obviously I don't want to give back all of this to the market, so we'll just run with it for now. But yeah, I do still see upside for New Zealand dollar CAD. Took a nice nearly 14% out of the market for this one. And the one and only trade that I've got left open is Euro JPY. As you can see, nice uptrend, high highs, high lows being created across the board. We then created this 4-hour order block, took my interest. We then go down to the 15-minute. As you can see, price quite corrective, taking out the lows, taking out the lows. We then had a nice breaker structure here. Last point of supply, stop loss was just below this little structure level here. Nearly got tagged out by, I believe, about 0.3 of a pip due to the spread, but stayed in thankfully. Currently running in around 10.5% profit, but my stop loss is literally just below this low, so we're about 6.2% locked in for certain, so we're not going to take no less than 6.2%. Now it's just a case of whether price can rally to the upside and continue moving higher. I do believe on the higher time frame there's going to be a load of imbalance that needs filling, potentially even down to this level here, before moving higher. Other than that, there's not really much imbalance. There's no imbalance left down here, so it could just be the fact that we come down, fill this imbalance, potentially move higher, which is a potential, could potentially happen. But yeah, I'm not going to give, just in case price just decides to come all the way back down. I'm not interested in giving everything back to the market, so we'll just run with locking in 6.2% for now. Yeah, we'll just see how price plays out for the rest of these pairs for next week. My fellow business partner and fellow trader Luke Taylor should be grabbing the midweek version of what I'm doing now, so he'll be running a video that will do exactly what I'm doing, just take you through trades that he's taken or looking to take, and but it will be with his market analysis. His trading style is a lot different to mine. Trade differently. We look for the same kind of areas, but we trade slightly differently, and he trades on the higher time frames, which obviously might benefit other people. So thanks for watching. I hope you like what you see. I know there's a lot of them in and R-ins. I ain't got no script here. I'm not reading off nothing. So apologies if that's annoying. But yeah, I shall see you in the next video. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.